Right, well, good morning everybody. Let's tilt this microphone up a little bit. There we are, we start. Now we've got it facing us. I'm going to do a little bit of a exploration now of a microphone that's come to be checked and tested, and see what we can find out about it. It's here it is, pull it forward. Whoops. It's one of these rather nice Silver Eagle microphones. They look really fabulous, they do. But this one, the chap that owns it says that the audio is going on and off a little bit. So I'm going to have a look. I've plugged it into my mixer, so I'll get my headphones on. Feedback now. Oh. Way, I can hear myself anyway. That's something. Oh, that feedback was loud, wasn't it? Right, so let's put this Silver Eagle on and see what happens. Switch this mic off and put the Silver Eagle on. Now the thing I notice, you've got two press to talks. People that don't know these microphones will just go through them. You've got a press to talk bar on the front there for the Eagle. Not all bases have that, and they also have a sidebar there, and you can also press to talk by holding the side of it. And a third option, which is really clever, is this sliding unit here, which if you slide this up, this bar, there, it's supposed to hold it. It isn't doing. That is supposed to hold it on transmit by sliding that up, but it isn't doing. It's that wants a little bit of looking at as well. Yeah. Okay, no problem. So let's just see if we can simulate the fault. One thing I found is that the bar at the side there is fairly easy to squeeze and hold it on transmit, and away you go. But this bottom one, it needs a lot of pressing, and I've got the circuit diagram here, which I'll flash on the screen in a minute. But there's a lot of contacts involved, which is a bit much really, all these contacts, because you've got one set of contacts for the transmit receive switching, which of course you've got to have, and then you've got a set of contacts for the battery to switch the battery in and out, which again you've got to have because it's a power mic, and then there's a third set of contacts that switches the microphone in and out of circuit. And that is completely pointless, because if you're putting the battery on and off, you don't need to switch the microphone in and out. You can bypass that completely and just let the power to the battery do it. Because if we move this, hear that is, you can hear that is the contacts. That's the contacts in the microphone wire, and so you can sit there like that, and we've still got power on the device, but the contacts in the microphone are doing that. If you relax on the button, you've got to hold the button down hard, and even so you've got this tendency to get noise like that, just by moving your finger slightly, as I'm doing. So we've got that problem, and also the wire on the plug he wants looking at. So I'm going to take this out to the workshop now, strip it down, and see what we can find. Well, I'm just going to do a small update now, bring this microphone here, on the progress made with the microphone with the Astatic Silver Eagle. It's been quite a headache really, trying to sort out what was going on with it. I'll get my headphones on so I can hear myself now, and we'll explain what has happened. I was a little bit I was a bit thrown with the Silver Eagle, because I've only worked on the Astatic D104s. The Astatic D104 has all the little contacts and things inside the shaft here, but of course the Silver Eagle has got two press to torques. It's got the one there and the one there. So I didn't know how they tattled it, and of course I've now found out they actually have the contacts there underneath, and there's this tiny little bit of metal that the contacts are fitted on, and it would appear that during the manufacture, to make everything work right, they bend this piece of metal to adjust the contacts so that they all make at the right time. And the problem with it was that wear and tear generally, the contacts weren't actually being operated fully. There was not enough pressure on them. So really that wanted bending to adjust it. But I wasn't going to tackle that, because when you're dealing with something this old, and that's been flexed many times, and it's actually moved, it's bent slightly and moved away from where it should be, there was no way I was going to chance bending it back, because it could fail, it could break or weaken. So the problem was, how do I compensate for the fact that this is bent slightly with use? And I ended up fitting a spacer. So I fitted a spacer to make up for the wear. That way there's been nothing done to the microphone to spoil the antiqueness of it. Just a spacer which can simply be taken out. I put a little bit of silicone lubrication on the necessary bearing down there. I bypassed the switch contact, one of the switch contacts for the microphone, which I mentioned before, because every contact that the audio goes through is a point where you're going to get distortion. So we've done that. And what I also found, move this keyboard out of the way a little bit, that there's two sets of press to torque contacts, this one and this one, but I found that when I slid that up, the sleeve, it wasn't holding it on transmit, again due to wear and tear, so that wasn't working. Anyway, it's all now working as it should be. I've replaced the felt inside this piece with a new piece of felt, so that it slides up and down nicely. Well, say nice-ish. It's obviously stiff, but there we go. If we just let's put it on the table. Can't work like that. Put it on the table, so you can key it up now, or you can just slide that up. Let's turn this one off. And now we're using the static one. Whee! Bit of mains hum coming in. It's picking it up through the desk, isn't it? So there we are. It's picking up the noise of the computer. So there we are. We're on transmit now. You can hold that bar, and it's on transmit. Or we can slide that up, and it will stay on transmit. That hum is a nuisance, isn't it? That's better. I've also rewired the plug at the other end as well. So felt fitted there, lubrication, a spacer to take up the wear and tear, and we're generally okay in action now. Put that off. Go back to operating it that way. So that's fine now. I'm well pleased with that. As you can hear, it's sounding far better than it did. And let's go to the bottom bar now. Key it with the bottom bar, and that's keyed that way. So you know, I'm really pleased with the way it's turned out. No further problems. All I've got to do now is screw the base plate on it, and the job's done. And I really like these microphones. They're nice. They're nice. But although this one looks much nicer than the D104, I think for the way the contacts operate and the switching and that, I think the D104 bass, that doesn't have the press to talk bar, is preferable. I think there's too much to go wrong in this bass. But there we have it, a very nice little microphone. So there, all done and dusted, finished. I'll screw the bass back on now, and it can go back to its lucky owner.